Howdy, 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 my MVP family. Howdy do. I'm coming to sit and talk with you in a moment, but I want to do a quick smoothie, guys. It's Tuesday, it's February 16th, and I just want to do a quick tropical blend. Alright? And then I'll be sitting and talking with you today about a few things. So let me quickly get this going. This is frozen fruits, and today we have strawberries and mango. Strawberries and mango, and I'm just gonna make a quick smoothie right here, right now. And while I'm making the smoothie, I'm not gonna put ice in it. I'm just gonna put some fruits. Oops, some fruits in it. I'm here. Oh boy. I'm here, guys. I am here. I think I'm gonna add an apple juice. Yep. I'm gonna do a quick apple juice. And I bought the small apple juices, so it's a single. So I'm just going to use one. And I think that should do it. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? Welcome to all the new subscribers to the channel. Welcome, welcome. So totally appreciate all of you. Locked in, power on. All right, so my mistake. I think there's too much fruits in here. Okay, let's try it again. Haha. Okay, guys, vroom. With strawberry and mango. Gonna stop for a moment and do a quick shake. Want to get the ones from the top to come down. Let's lock it in again. So I'm hoping that everybody's okay. Stop it again, and then I think I might need to add a little more water to it. So it's a little thick. I'm gonna add a little bit of apple juice. All right. Then we just do a little stir. a little stir. So because the fruits are frozen, they're acting up in here. So I could do one of two things. I'll use the bigger part, so I'm going to use this one. Gonna lock that on. Gonna use the rest of the apple juice. Life is something else, you know, when you have choices, it's a good thing. Sometimes we get stuck in one way of life. We have no choices, and then what happens? Everything becomes overwhelming because we feel like there's no way out. Wow. See the difference, guys? See the difference when you give yourselves options in life. So something doesn't work, you don't have to get stuck in it. You can always move on to something else. Got it? Give yourself choices. It's a good thing. It's always a good thing to give yourself choices. So, just so quickly we see how beautiful things can be and how much more we can get done when we have choices. Miss Bev is here, guys. Miss Bev is here, and my hair is so thick. Oh my God, it is so thick. For those people who are growing out their hair and you are able to manage, I applaud you so very much. I truly applaud you because it's not easy when you're growing out your hair, the natural hair. And I have to be so thankful to God because I still have a full head of thick hair. And so as I try to grow it out, no more chemicals. It's been a long, long time since I've done chemicals. I had cut it down. You saw how short it was. You still see the pictures on my intro, on my profile, that I had cut it all the way down. So it's grown, so I'm braiding it, but it's hard to tame. It is so hard to tame. So I'm just here, I'm enjoying it. And I still have my little extra piece that my sister-in-law bought in New York. And I'm here, it's still me. So I'm thankful for that, guys. So today, yesterday was Dr. Martin Luther King's Day, and we celebrated. I'm hoping that parents, that you taught your children about the civil rights movement and how he didn't fight with a gun. He didn't fight with put down words and cuss words, but he fought peaceful fights so that today, even though things are not perfect, we still have the bigotry, we still have the people who or still, for whatever reason, lack of a lot of things, that there's still prejudice because of people's color or people's size or people's wherever you come from, ethnicity. There are people who are still out there uneducated and still acting the fool. But we have come a long, long way. And we didn't just get up and come. We got up and got here because we're standing on the shoulders of people like Dr. Martin Luther King, who paved the way for us. So let us never forget our past, because we should use it to build and make ourselves better. Let us not forget our past, but let us use it to build and to make ourselves better. So today I want to talk about lowering our standards, right? It's funny, right? Lowering our standards. And I want to say cheers. Cheers, 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 right? This is my banana, strawberries, and apple juice. Delicious. It's really good. So that's what we want to talk about, lowering our standards. A lot of times we end up lowering our standards because we don't give ourselves choices. Just now you saw me making this smoothie. I put them in the bullet, in the small one. And because the fruits are cut in big pieces, the strawberries are whole strawberries, they're frozen. And so in the small container, they're more close together. So it was hard for the spinning motion to take place. But what happened? Instead of sitting there and moping and what am I going to do? I had a choice, right? I had a choice. And what I did, I transferred from the smaller one to the larger, spacious one, where the fruits were able to move freely around in the spinning process, and they were able to become crushed and create the smoothie. So that's a lesson that we should learn, that in life we should always give ourselves choices. Make it so that we have choices, so that we do not have to sit and compromise and do things that we would not normally do, things that are against our God-given ethics, and then end up lowering our standards in order for us to do well. As an educator, I think soon it will be a different conversation. But as an educator over these many, many years, I'm looking back as I decided to talk about lowering standards. I look back at how, as educators, every day we go in and we end up lowering our standards in the classrooms. So many of us are guilty of that. Why do we lower our standards? We lower our standards because in our homes, if our kid ever make the mistake, as I was saying, as educators, we lower our standards every day. Many, many teachers. I think every teacher does that, especially those of us who teach in the urban school setting, where children come in, the parents are so young, and they're not teaching the children the right things, the right way of living. They're not helping them to understand how they can excel and become great contributors to society. A lot of young parents, too young, teenagers, having babies, and they're not mature, and so they take the children as their best friend. And so it is a harder cycle. People talk about COVID and the pandemic allowed these things, but even without the pandemic, if we look back before the pandemic, we could have seen the decline in the attitude towards learning, that children were not progressing. I don't know how children can leave kindergarten, get to first grade, and they're adding and subtracting all this time. They get to second grade, they're adding, they're subtracting, they're multiplying. They get to third grade, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. All the other grades, they're doing these things. They're putting them into groups and they're doing different things. But when they get to like third grade, they're learning the terms. You're dividing, right? You know, they're using all the math terms that they need to use. And yet they proceed to fourth grade and fifth grade and sixth grade, middle school. And they get there, still don't know how to add 2 digits, multiply 2 digits, divide a certain amount of things between a certain amount of people. How did that happen? You wonder, is it the teacher's fault? Because the teachers are the ones giving them the work, assessing their work, and seeing that they're not doing well. Did they change the way they did things? Did they draw pictures to help them understand it? Did they start teaching them how these numbers relate to themselves? As in subtraction, if I have $20 and I went to the store and I bought 2 packs of chips, I bought a juice, and I bought some candy, and I spent $6.50 out of my $20, how much change would I have gotten back? Did they help the kids make those basic connections so that the math made sense? Or did they just continue to give them the numbers and the kids don't understand and they just let it be and they just give up and they keep pushing them on? Then they get to the first grade. These are grades where they could go back and build on where the shortages were. But when you track these kids from that level all the way up, and they finish elementary school, and they get to middle school, and all of a sudden you're seeing all these deficiencies. And you're saying, my God, what happened? Where did it happen? Why? You ask all these questions, why? And you look back at the parents, and you look at the inner cities that we teach, and we look at the parents who are in these inner cities, and we start wondering, what percentage of them graduated high school? What percentage of them went on to build at a higher level? What percentage of them? The kids that are really, really failing, what percentage of what kind of homes are they coming out of? You have to start looking at these things, right? Right? So you look at this, you look at all these factors, and you wonder, what happened? And then these children, they come to us, because I know a lot of you out there, you have heard the young people, they call them now the Gen Zs, right? They call us baby boomers. Then you have the Gen Xs. Then you have now the Gen Zs. But the Bible called them a different name, right? It calls them a generation of vipers. I don't know if this is a generation, or there's still another generation coming that's going to be worse than this generation. I don't know. But we look at what is going on, and we see how more and more people are lowering those standards. Lowering the standards, and the more they lower the standards, it's the more our children are getting lost. The more we talk about, don't embarrass them if you tell them to be quiet, please, then, oh, you're embarrassing them. If you hold them accountable for work to be done, you're embarrassing them. Please do not speak to them in the open classroom. Take them to the side. Even when you don't have the time to do a little side thing, or you're talking to the kid over and over, a lot of times kids would change. But as I said, because Nobody wants to do the tough work anymore. We end up lowering our standards. As children, we could never use a negative word. We could never use a cuss word in the presence of an adult. We couldn't go to school and couldn't even let it cross our minds. But as things progress and parents become more political, everything becomes no more prayer in school. Corporal punishment is a no, fine. Then they get to the point where, you cannot embarrass the kid, you cannot do this, you cannot. And every time you cut away, it leaves adults vulnerable, and we see children who are more empowered. When teachers were calling parents, and the parents said, wait till they come home. And the kid would come back the next day and sit quietly, and when you said, do I need to call the parents? No, miss, I'm going to do better, miss, don't call home. They call it abuse. And yes, sometimes we have parents who go overboard and they discipline in anger, and you can get to that point of abuse. But look at how much havoc the children are creating, because if you touch me, I'm calling the police. You're in the school, you can't speak to them, you can't do anything, because they know every law and they know everything, and they can create the situations and they get away with it. So what do you do as a teacher? You send in the classroom. You start saying, okay, that's not so bad. And you keep tolerating more. And the more you tolerate, the harder the kids come at you. And until now, you find middle school is a wreck. It's a wreck. Kids can come in with phones, videotaping teachers. Kids can get into fights and it's videotaped, and it's no repercussions, nothing done. Because everybody's lowering the standard in order to meet these children. And we're not seeing that we're empowering them. The superintendent wants soft voices to the children. The softer you get is the more the kids run over you and laugh at you. Administrators having meetings nowadays and they're telling kids they can write teachers up. Why are we lowering our standards to those that these little children can't read, can't write, can't do math? How are we making them become the leaders? Why are we making them dictate what a school environment should look like? How are we going to rope them back in? How are we going to get anything progressive that is progressive done when we already empowered these kids? They're not reading. Oh, it's okay. They're not writing. They don't know how to write a letter. They don't know how to they don't even know how to start writing a letter. They don't know grammar. They come to the middle school with so much deficits, it makes you want to barf. Because they come in and your head is just spinning. They go to language arts, and again, this is the big wigs. They take out grammar. Oh, you shouldn't teach grammar. And what have you? Kids are writing. I remember when I used to teach language arts, and I would sit there and I would check their grammar and put the SP over the word if it's incorrectly spelled. And I would have them go back and use the resources they have to correct those things and let them rewrite it now in that good way so that they can be proud of their work. God, are those days when people would post kids' work and it had grammatical errors, and the principal would walk around and says, you take that down. Take that down. And they would have to sit and show the kid where they went wrong and let the kids go and fix it. And then it got into when younger principles come into place. And these younger principles, this is as long as the kid made an effort. They don't care how much grammatical errors. They don't care how no heading, no nothing. They just slap something on the paper. They don't care. They just give them credit for doing something. And the standards become lower and lower, and our children are performing lower and lower. They come in your classroom and say, I need a heading on your page because when I go back to check your work, I need to know the date the work was done. I want to see what our target was. What is it that we were learning that day? I want to see the examples. I want to see the steps you took to solve the problem. And then when you do the problem, I want you to circle the answer so that I can find your final outcome in all of the things that you wrote there. And they say, oh, you do too much. And so you walk around, you look at other people's work, and the kids just, you give a problem and they just write a number on a page. And I often say to them, so tell me, when you wrote that number, what did it connect to? What was it you were doing? Because if you put 6 on that page, it could have been finding the area of a rectangle whose length was 3 feet and the width was 2 feet. 3 times 2 is 6 square feet. But I don't know. That 6 could have been you added 5 plus 1. That 6 could have meant you divided $12 for 2 people. That 6 can mean so many different things. So tell me, what is it connected to? You go to study. Tell me, what does this say to you? But you hardly get the support you need because administrators are agreeing with the kids that you do too much. You want too much from them. And so the standards get lower and lower. And you have the children who come in and they cuss at you. And it would have never been tolerated otherwise. There were days gone by, if a kid says the F word in front of you, they were written up, the parents were called, and this was a no, we're not accepting it. But times changed. And parents cuss the worst to their children, and the children walk in the classroom, and they tell you, shut the F up, bitch, and they call you all these names, and you're not even surprised anymore. You have to figure out a way. We have lowered our standards by figuring out a way to either have a good comeback so it doesn't drive us crazy, or we just ignore it. Because if we even write it up, it's not addressed because it's not that serious. And so the institution that was created to help build children, students with abilities to take over when the older people, because it's a cycle. And so we took over from our parents. Our children would take over from us. Our children's children will take over from them. And that's supposed to be the cycle. But if you have these children who are learning nothing, who is going to be there to take over? It's something that we have to think about, my people. We really have to think about it. Because if we don't start thinking about it, we're going to be in some harsh, dark places. So let's stop lowering our standards, people. Let's start expecting better from our children. Let us stop them in their tracks and let us take back the days when we said, nope, not going to accept that. Let them know it's not okay. Let us take them back. Let us take our children back. Let us lift the standard, set our expectations, hold them accountable for it. Because when we go out there in the schools and we lower our standards to accept these kids cussing at us, and we shake our heads and say whatever, then we come home to our family. And sometimes, if we're not careful, when our children may think it's okay to bring that garbage in the homes, we tend to start looking the other way. Or we might tend to look the other way because we're accepting it out there in the classroom. So now we come home and we're going to think that it's okay. So let us be careful, my people. Let us start going back to setting our expectations, holding our kids accountable, because they are capable of great things. And if we instill in them and we encourage it and we practice it, we are going to turn out great human beings. So that's my talk with you today, guys. Thanks to all of you who have been new to my channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just know that you're always appreciated. I thank you. I thank the people who helped me when I just started. And I'm grateful that I have the heart. I thank you, Bev Brown. You keep saying thank you, Miss Bev. But just know you do some of it on your own, Bev Brown. It's not about me. It's me giving you the information and you using it to do what you need to do. So welcome to everybody. Go over there, look, check out Bev Brown. You have Little J Plays. Go check her out. You have Essence of Mercy and Grace. Go check them out, guys. Give them some love. You have Faith Movements with Yvette. Go check them out, guys. Show them some love. Thank you, guys. The channel is growing. We're over 3,000 subscribers. So thank you for all of you who believed in me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. I so appreciate it. Thank you for your laughter. Thank you for your upliftment, your prayers, your encouragement. Thank you for all things. And those of you who have not subscribed yet, as Bev Brown says, what are you waiting for, my people? Go over there and continue to support Miss Bev. Miss Bev is here. We'll share some good news with you guys at a later date. But just know I love you, appreciate all of you. And thank you, Trending. Go check out Trending, guys. That lady, she's in the Philippines, but she has been so sharing my videos, watching my videos, liking them, commenting. The J Jordan, another, oh my God, who just shares out my videos. Go support them, guys. I support them. I appreciate them. I respect them. You go do likewise. So much love to all of you. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's build expectations. Let's higher the standards again. Let us never lower them so that our children can be awesome human beings. Take care, my people.